So I just came out of meditation after making the last video and heard pull cards asking specifically, what timeline did we just jump into by releasing the belief that we are the bane of others' existence and our own, into accepting we are the joy of our life and others. Cleared the cards and tapped in before I hit record. In an effort to get right into it, my loves. Okay. An emotional surprise. Like literally an emotional surprise. And I'm hearing like the courage to jump in the water and swim. And being generous with yourself and others. Like this is the attraction energy. Healing. Healing the abandonment wounds. Healing the feeling of being used. Healing the feeling of being a toy kept on a shelf. When I was in meditation, there was very much this energy and awareness coming through of where others who would squash and steal our joy would also then take us like out in public and utilize that joy as a like, look what I did, look what I have, attraction. Almost like I saw it like as a carrot, on a string, like bait to bring people in, because they were in such a lonely, codependent place that they would then use our innocence and joy as bait to bring people in for them with zero discernment of who to allow in. And then once they got what they wanted, they'd stick us back up on the shelf. And if we expressed ourselves joyfully, we would usually get punished or scolded for it. We're out of that. We're out of that because we have made the decision and realization to do so. We have realized and decided that we are not a toy to be kept on a shelf. Not for ourselves or not for anybody else. And is bringing in balance. Look at that balance. Of self, of recognizing exactly that, like we are our greatest joy, and that joy comes from pure innocence. And it's our innocence that we are here to protect and defend and advocate for. And I'm not even talking like in a legal sense of like innocent or guilty. Like I'm talking about like, I have the personal experience that's coming to mind is we were kicked out of a hotel room because they believed we were smoking in the room. And when we had first moved in to that, when we first, got into that room, I did burn incense, and we were notified that that was not allowed because it's still considered like an open flame that can, cause damage. And I was like, heard, understood. And they saw the incense tray. They saw something in the bathroom sink that because they saw the incense tray, assumed was incense ash, and it wasn't. And so they kicked us out, under the guise of having smoked in the room. I was so unbothered by being kicked out of the room because we had already decided that our time, we had already outgrown that space, and it was time for us to level up and upgrade out of there anyway. So like, as far as being kicked out, I really saw that as confirmation that it was time for us to move forward. I was righteously angered at the accusations that were completely false. And I was also shocked by the accusations because all of the staff, front desk and, housekeeping included, had all seen us at, multiple times at all different times of day and night, outside of our room smoking, like to the point where they had told us we could take these 2 plastic chairs they kept out front and put them over by our room because we were out there so much. And they were like making sure we had an ashtray out there. So like, and so when I went and spoke with the manager the next rising, I wasn't in there trying to fight. Like, I was not in there to fight to stay in the room. I had no desire to stay there. And I wasn't there to fight, period. I was there to advocate for for my innocence. Because the fact of the matter was, I didn't smoke in the room. Nobody had smoked in the room. And it took a moment of me, it took a few minutes of me standing my ground and, and saying, because I literally asked her, I said, why would we smoke in the room when your entire staff, yourself included, has seen us, smoking outside all the time, day, night, warm, cold, snow, rain, sun, literally, why would we go through that suffering if we were smoking in the room? And she says to me, why would you burn incense? Why would you burn incense in the room if you weren't trying to cover up the smell of something? And I just looked her dead in the eyes and I was like, because I'm spiritual. And I watched that authenticity and that innocence, come out of my mouth and just completely trigger her entire, all of the fear in her and wherever she's holding shame in herself. And she literally yelled back at me, get your shit and just get the fuck out. And I was like, God bless. And not in a sarcastic way, but it was a moment of where, I was righteously offended, if I guess not even offended, but I was righteously upset. And I was a place for me to defend and advocate for my innocence, because I was absolutely innocent. And it wasn't in a place of fear because I was needing or wanting to stay there. It was literally in a place of being like, no, I'm not going to accept that dirt on my name when it's not authentic and true. And guess what? We got out of there and we had a full refund that evening, and we're moved into another hotel, a different hotel, a huge upgrade, and it's been a huge blessing, and it was just a really big moment for me to be like, it wasn't about arguing to be right. I really wasn't fighting to be right. I was simply standing firm on my ground, in my truth, in my innocence, and not accepting the projections that because based on her past experiences, when folks were burning incense in the rooms, it was in an attempt to cover up the smell of something else they were burning. That doesn't mean that everyone who burns an incense in that room is trying to hide anything. And we only assume and project that people are trying to hide shit when we are in fact hiding from ourselves in some degree. So there's the warning, it's going to be a challenge. You're going to have to stay mindful because the ego, is going to be triggered by this. But, and the ego's the ego definitely is like, I didn't do shit wrong. I do what I need to do. And it does. But more than that, it's really coming to this place, I think, really sitting with the ego and being like, hey, I know sometimes it's fun to fight. Let's be honest, sometimes it's fun. Sometimes we really enjoy a good verbal battle. Some of us enjoy the passion of a physical, tussle. But this isn't meant to be a battle. It's really about dropping shame. It's really just about being shamelessly you, regardless of how others might perceive it. Genuinely coming, because when you're authentically you, you're going to attract in others who are authentically them, and that's going to build a home and community and tribe that we all really want, right? You got to be in the vibe to attract the tribe. Go blow bubbles, dance, play in sand, take a bubble bath. I don't care what it is, but Sit with yourself long enough today, please, to ask yourself, what is one thing that I can do that just will fill my heart with joy? And don't judge it, regardless of how minuscule or silly or childish or whatever negative connotations might try to come up about it. Just do it with the full abandonment of a child and wonder, and see what happens. I love you.